Be surprised he went full Nazi talking about bloodlines and the Nordic race and stuff. If Hasan was anybody else and we didn't have a personal relationship, I would be talking about him so much more, because it is actually crazy that Amazon owned Twitch.tv's largest political content creator, who has sole reign over that platform because there are no other political opinions on Twitch besides his own, is allowed to spew terrorist propaganda. If Twitch would have existed 10 years ago, would Hasan be like watching ISIS music videos on stream and like dancing along to it? God, I'm so glad I'm not Jewish. I'm so glad every day that I'm not Jewish. I would be so if I was Jewish. They're like seething. They're so fucking mad. Were you surprised at how mask off he was last night? For the first time ever, I think I genuinely feel like we're on a bad path right now. Dude, I can't believe Hasan said they were part of the fucking... What was the Hasan White House drama? Oh, the drama from a year ago? I think when I said that initially, I think that we already, I think everything already basically came out, that like basically everybody was failing the media test. That was about it. I think initially I'd heard that Hasan had failed it hard, and then I'd heard from other people that everybody failed it hard, and then I'd heard from everybody that was just to it. So yeah, I don't think there's anything like juicy to come out of that. What is the test? Oh, just going through social media to make sure everything is kosher. I love how he wants America to go back to its origins. What? So here's something that I thought about a lot about that debate. I had a strategy going into that debate that I really wanted to utilize that I wasn't able to, and that's just like forcing Trumples to like, hey, I need you to admit that, like, for instance, the difference in response to disasters. I couldn't do it in this debate because it was like 20 minutes back and forth. But I want somebody to say, hey, I need you to admit that this quote is real. That, fuck, what was this guy's name? I don't know. Is it Roy Collins? Is that the guy in... No, it's not Roy Collins. It's something Roy. Oh, fuck, did I get the name wrong in the debate? North Carolina governor. Roy Cooper, sorry. Who's Roy Collins? Nobody corrected me? Did he correct me and I just didn't hear it? Sorry, Roy Cooper. That the guy said, like, Biden called me, like, we have everything, the federal government can provide. Now it's just a matter of getting everything out to people. Like, that's it. Brian Kemp said that too. He sure did. And DeSantis, Kemp, and Cooper have all said that they're happy. Meanwhile, compare that to DeSantis in California when Trump was literally threatening. They stopped aid to California for, I think, 2 days. And then the public backlash and probably administration backlash was so great that he was like, okay, we'll redo it. And then, that's unhinged. That Republicans are trying to pretend like Democrats don't give aid to people. It's so stupid. Is there a point at which we just abandon the pomp and circumstance of debate and just say Trump committed an act of treason? He should be ineligible to hold office on repeat. We did do that. Why am I retarded? We did do that. We did that after the Civil War. Okay? After the Civil War, we felt it was so important not to have somebody like that in office. We put it in the fucking Constitution. But the Supreme Court decided that doesn't count anymore. So we're done with that argument. All right. We don't have that. We don't talk about that anymore. But yes, we did decide that at one point in time, that having people that were actually treasonous traitors don't get to run for office again if they were prior office holders. And the Supreme Court was like, okay, but really though? Like really? Were you surprised he went full Nazi talking about bloodlines and the Nordic race and stuff? I have so many talking points that I want to start getting through in debates. I thought so much about, and now I know more. The immigration talking point is something I'm going to hammer into every single one of these racist losers' heads every single time I see them. Especially, and there's nothing worse also than a guy who talks about genetic reality who comes from bad genetic stock. Like, if Einstein was out here saying, I think Haitians are stupid, okay, and I don't trust him, it's like, okay, well, that's pretty bad, but it's Einstein, okay? Why is it always these losers that are just like failed online rejects that are talking about like the supremacy of their genetic stock? Like, show me, bro. Where? How am I supposed to see this? What's the phenotype that we're looking at right now, right? The genetic stock that you come from is the online debater loser phenotype? Really? It's wild to me. You calling Trump Zoggy? Oh, I'll always do that in front of the fasci audiences as well. Yeah, hell yeah. Trump is super Israeli controlled. AIPAC money, simps for Israel, assassinated an enemy of Israel. Remember, gripers and the alt-right and the far right all think that the only reason we went to Iraq was because Israel wanted us to kill Saddam Hussein. What about Soleimani? You don't think Israel has a vested interest in stopping Iranian-backed proxies? Stupid. It's stupid. Oh, anyway, the thing that I was saying though is, wait, did you notice that when he was going on a spiel about theater kids getting into politics, he accidentally ended up describing himself, suit wearing, zero substance. No, the theater kids was a dog whistle for something, but I don't even remember what it was. Something that I think I need to do. How old is this guy? I feel like I want to talk to adults, which is a weird thing to say now that I'm 35, but or people that are like real human. Oh, he's 24? I think it's harder to talk about like what is America? What does America stand for? What does America do? What should we be? It's hard to have that conversation with a child who has no concept. Like, why? Like, I wouldn't talk to a 19 or 20-year-old Antifa commie kid who wants to tell me about how capitalism should be abolished because you're a child. No offense, you're just a child, right? You believe some wild shit, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But why should I take seriously some like 24-year-old Fuentes wannabe who's has no concept of what this country is or what it can do or has any strong ideas or vision for the country at all? It's just like, yeah, it's dumb. I don't know. Axe wound is another dog whistle for transphobia. Oh, really? Ripcord 69 describing a neo vagina or whatever as an axe wound? That's a dog whistle? Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks. That guy came off as deeply unserious. Like the kind of people you used to argue with in 2017 who were in it for the memes. Are these actual serious Trump spokespeople now, or was he just some random dude? I mean, he's like a ex-griper or whatever. But this is the average Trumple now. That you can't be a serious defender of Donald Trump, right? Like, how do you? Not that you're up to date, but what do you think about Hassan already calling the attack on Israel today as Iranian retaliation? Par for the course. I don't know if maybe Hassan is like ready to retire and he's trying to crash out hard or something. But there should absolutely be people that are spamming the fuck out of every single crazy clip that comes out of this dude's mouth. It's actually insane. I realized that the same thing that the Trumples did. The same thing that the Trumples did to the media with that whole Trump derangement syndrome is the same thing that lefties try to do to me in regards to Hassan. The whole like, oh, you're obsessed, so you can't talk about him. If Hassan was anybody else, we didn't have a personal relationship, I would be talking about him so much more because it is actually crazy that Amazon owned Twitch.tv's largest political content creator who has sole reign over that platform because there are no other political opinions on Twitch besides his own is allowed to spew terrorist propaganda. Like, that's insane to me. Like, if Twitch would have existed 10 years ago, would Hassan be like watching ISIS music videos on stream and like dancing along to it? Is that what he would be showing his friends and saying like, well, ISIS, is trying to resist the U.S. presence in the Middle East. They only exist because of Obama, right? It's actually fucking insane. React to this. He now denies all rapes on October 7th. Yeah, that's old news. That's because Ryan Grimm and those two other hack journalists did that one thing saying that the New York Times lied about systematic. So they basically say they're like, well, maybe one person got raped, but there was no other collection of rapes or whatever, right? Clancy's not even like a radicalist supporter. It's just, the problem is they're all just kind of like, I don't want to say politically retarded because I don't expect the average person to know anything about politics, but yeah, I don't know, bro. It's insane. I need advice on political activism. We're dealing with the same, if not worse, election shit in my country, and I'm legit lost as to what to do. The Overton window is very to the right, and the left is non-existent, or it's busy protesting against Israel. Yeah, I don't know, dude. The issue is like there are so many issues. Read chat, multiple people saying Hassan had to warn his chat to turn down the rhetoric. Sounds like he was warned. Yeah, but that just makes me even more upset because it means Twitch is aware that he's supporting terrorists and murdering Jews and shit on his stream. But he just got a warning for it. That's fucking unhinged. That's wild. That's fucking wild to me. Like, Hassan is basically on stream every day, okay, saying, the genociding needs to stop. And if that means giving a bunch of Islamist, fundamentalist extremists rockets and missiles and then they have my blessing. Except he's doing it unironically every single stream. But he's also happy too. Like, you know that, like, this is another thing. God, I'm so glad I'm not Jewish. I'm so glad every day that I'm not Jewish. I'm so glad I'm not Jewish. Because I would be so mindful if I was Jewish. You can tell when these people talk about events how mad they are. Like, if a hostage is rescued or freed, they're like fucking seething. They're so fucking mad. Like, oh, this Jew got out of the fucking camps. They're so mad about it. And then, like, whenever there's an attack and Jews die, it's like, what'd you think resistance looked like, Chief? Huh? What? Are you mad because the Goyim's finally getting his? Yeah? What'd you think it was going to be like, Mr. Terrorist Jew guy? Like, they're so mad. You can see how fucking ass mad they are. Every time something good happens to the Jewish people, or the Jewish people, right? And then every time something bad happens, they're like celebrating. It's insane. It's insane. They had a pin post in chat. Do not Fed post in chat. You know what they were typing? Washed is the same. Customer reminds people no Fed posting. Sure. He sounded so sad today when he heard the attack is already over. Yeah, probably. The champagne socialist incarnate. 2.2 watts. That's how fast this fucking thing charges? Really? You don't know any people that write for CNN or other media in the USA? I don't really have personal relationships with any of these people, no. When is the Bridges you film with J-Reg coming out? No clue. That was a lot. It was quite a bit more tame. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to be 100% straight up with you. But the issue is that you'll have no idea if I'm being straight up, right? Isn't that kind of the point? I have no clue if that episode was a troll or not. I went back and forth wondering if any of this is like real or legitimate, or I have absolutely no fucking idea. I started rewatching that afterwards with a friend, and I was laughing so hard. It was so fucked up, but it maybe it wasn't funny actually. When he was screaming and me and Dan were just like kind of like laughing at each other, and then we start like watching one of his YouTube videos for like 2 minutes while he's just sitting. I have no idea if any of that was real or not. I have no idea. Why don't you just ask him? No, I don't want to ruin the bit. If it is a bit. And if it's not, he'll probably kill himself, so... Nah, he wouldn't do that. What were the vibes like after? Oh, I should have asked Dan. Dan went out to eat. I had to stay back and record stuff, so I didn't have time to. Lay epically trolled? Did Dan and him go out to eat together? I think they did, right? He reposted Dan's meme, so they must have been cool on some level. Or he was just memeing along after, so he didn't seem like he was left out of it. I have no idea. I still can't believe that guy just admitted leaders should do illegal things and just let the courts work it out. I mean, that's basically what Trump was saying, right? Like, if you look at Trump's campaign, it's like it's a joke. Like, it's just insane. The problem is that not only do they lie with impunity now, like with all the disaster aid relief, everything they're saying about this shit is just lies, right? So not only can they lie with impunity, they also they've got like a media operative basically now in the form of Elon Musk that helps them accelerate their lies too, right? Or amplify their lies as well. Yeah, they're completely divorced from reality. It's insane. It's fucking insane. What are your thoughts on Republican governors bootlicking Biden now that they need help? I mean, they always do that, right? But I mean, Biden always gives help. Biden's a good man, dude. What a great guy. I almost shed a tear on the airplane because I was researching for talking points, and I saw that like somebody in the media was saying something along the, I think was it Roy Cooper? Fuck, I need to make sure I get this guy's name right. Yes. The VOD quality is absurdly dog shit. Wait, what VOD? Somebody was asking him like, hey, what's going on? Like, has Biden done anything or what's going on? And he was like, yeah, Biden called me yesterday, dude. We're good. We're Gucci. On Patreon? Oh, I don't know anything about I don't know. I don't touch the Patreon at all. I have no idea. I don't know what the video quality is or how Patreon handles this shit or anything, so I can't speak to that at all. I'm sorry. Did you see some of the destruction in North Carolina? Shit was absolutely insane. Yeah. So it feels so cringe to say because somehow Republicans have gotten to call everything cringe. But like, wasn't the whole point of climate change that we were going to start to see more extreme weather events, like moving further and further away from the equator? That it wasn't just going to be people in fucking Africa that got a little bit too hot, but that you would see more extreme weather events occurring as well? Hmm. The flooding in 2016 was also really crazy. I don't know if this one is worse. I haven't watched or haven't kept up on this one at all. But in 2016, that was supposed to be like a 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 10,000 years of rainfall. It was insane. If you were an Israeli, would you rather Trump or Kamala win the election, and why? Kamala, because, well, it depends on what kind of Israeli you are. If you're a smart Israeli, you want Kamala because she actually has a coherent vision for world policy. If you're a retarded Netanyahu Judean Samaria simp, you probably just want Trump because you think infinite power is like the salvation of Israel or some shit. So Biden has been very weak on Israel and Ukraine. To be fair, a good president would have been killing Russians inside of Ukraine for a few years at this point. Yeah, that's not really how the real world works, but sure. Okay. How did the Glenn Laurie convo go? It went okay. A lot of it was about race. If you guys have tuned into the prior race arc, you're going to hear a lot of the just black people, you know, it's a rough life being black. It really is. Holy shit. I do think it's funny. I can't quote him, obviously, because it's cringe rap, and I'm not going to quote a cringe rapper in front of an actual black person, okay? But it's funny that, you know, sometimes rappers will put like monologues at the end of albums and their last song or whatever. But something that I thought was an interesting monologue from our favorite cringe rapper, Mortal Technique, is he does a little spiel on like black people moving out of the ghetto, and he talks about how in ancient black history, like poverty isn't something that is necessarily a part of the black experience. That doesn't have to be part of the black experience. And I thought it was interesting listening to Glenn talk. It seemed very confusing that this guy is an incredibly smart PhD economist. 3 of his colleagues won, Nobel Prizes. And then listening to him talk about, he just released a book where he kind of went over a lot of aspects of his life. Just the crazy life that he had, trying to kind of like stay true to being black, but also being like a PhD. Did he go to Harvard? He's teaching at, I think, an Ivy League right now. Glenn Laurie. What brand t-shirt is this? All my t-shirts, I'm going to be honest, okay? This is the last time I'm saying it, I'm banning it from stream, okay? It's Lululemon. Lululemon is the life hack, okay? Mid-tier brand for men, okay? All of their clothes are Kino. This is a Lululemon shirt. This is a Lululemon heathered tee. It's just it's a great clothing store for men, okay? There's a lot of like stuff that's like decent, you know? Any sense for quantity of threats coming at you lately? It's kind of a lot. Is it cotton though? No, this is also, I don't know if I should feel bad about this because I've never thought about like environmental impact of my clothes because I just buy cheap shit from Walmart. All of this stuff is synthetic. It's like heavily synthetic. But I didn't realize this, but I really like synthetic, like this poly, whatever clothing it is. I don't know what the actual fabric is. It doesn't wrinkle. When people say things like, oh, anti-wrinkle, whatever bullshit, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. This stuff, it doesn't. It doesn't wrinkle. It feels really good. It feels really nice. Yeah, holy shit. It's so... Merino wool is better. Oh, I looked at some of that. That clothing is really expensive. I don't know how I feel about the looks of it, though. I do wear wool socks now, though. CNN has to know about the Santerra stuff, right? Or do they not? Unfortunately, I think a lot of those rooms are just very left-leaning now. Like, a lot of the people in there are just very left-leaning, so it's hard to get people to care as much about it. I'm sure they probably know, and they're like, it's probably not the greatest thing in the world, but they just don't really care as much. What do you think of Biden saying he won't break the strike if that dipshit shore workers union takes the entire Eastern Seaboard hostage? I don't know anything about the strike. I can't speak on it. Sorry. Oh my God, did I just dump some shit on the floor? What is this mic set for, or microphone for? When we do the election stream, oh my God, I'm dropping shit. When we do the election stream night, we're gonna have more than 4 people in here. So I'm trying to think of like, how do I want them all mic'd up? because I don't think I can't like set mics up all over the room. So I was thinking of like having 4 wireless mics that I could just put on people. Why do Dems try to appease right-wingers on Israel so much more easily than trying to consolidate the left? It seems to moderates, the issue doesn't matter. Right-wingers aren't voting them anyway, but the left may withhold votes to be punitive on Dems. No, you'd never try to appeal to illiberals. Stop thinking about it as left and right, okay? When you're thinking left to right, there are very, very, very few right people left. You have left are like the liberals and the Democrats, and right are like the liberal conservatives, like conservatives. That's right now in society, the vast majority of Republicans are left. I'm sorry, the vast majority of Democrats are liberals, like in the Democratic Party, and the vast majority of the Republican Party are illiberal. They're MAGA people, right? MAGA people are not like democracy enjoying people. Same thing with communists and socialists. These are not people that you should ever be appealing to. Turn down the music. Wait, is it really loud? Sorry, I don't know if what I just said makes sense. I hate that we use different words for liberals. Are you saving your whole recordings on a storage server, or are you relying on YouTube DVR? I do a local recording on my computer. I back that up to another drive, a disk drive, and then I shoot it over onto Google Drive. And then every month when I'm feeling super brave, I delete everything that's a month old or longer. It did, but can you explain it in a more concise way? Okay. There's a thing called liberalism. A classical liberal, or somebody that believes broadly in liberalism, is somebody that believes in things like the Bill of Rights. We think that it's important to have freedom of speech, freedom of the press. We champion things like capitalism. Wait, hello? What was I saying? Oh, okay. Liberalism, big thing. Okay, liberalism is basically this idea about like freedom and democracy and capitalism, right? People should be able to buy and sell things as they please. People should be able to start businesses, hire workers. We should enjoy broadly concepts like freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of association. Like we can do these things. I don't know if I should say freedom of association actually, because libertarians use that to mean not being beholden to a state. Forget that part. Okay, but anyway, like stuff you'd find in the Bill of Rights, basically. As you veer further to the left and right, people mistakenly assume that socialists and communists are to the left of, in the United States, we call them Democrats. And then people mistakenly assume that like MAGA or fascists are more to the right, okay? But that's not really true. In my opinion, the left-right paradigm only works as long as we're talking about one coherent, like broad political ideology, which is liberalism. Communists and socialists are not liberals. They don't believe in things like multiple political parties or open speech or dialogue, right? This is why Hassan says things like we should put these people in re-education camps, or why they would jail political enemies, or why they champion the gulags, right? They don't want capitalists in society. They would ban things like private ownership and hiring employees because they see it as exploitative, and they would ban it in their society. And then similarly, when you go over to the right, and then you fall off the liberal paradigm on the right, and you go to like the MAGA people, or like fascists or authoritarians, they don't believe in a decentralized government. They don't believe in checks and balances. They want a dictator. They want a strong man. They don't believe in like the freedom of the press, right? Donald Trump, the press is the enemy of the people. They don't believe in freedom of speech, you know? You want to sue everybody that you disagree with, or you want to jail your political opponents. So I don't like saying that. I just don't like putting these people on the same left and right paradigm. It doesn't make any sense. You should never be trying to appeal to illiberal people. Yeah. I would argue that you could believe in democracy and socialism at the same time. Is that not the case? Not really, but because of what socialism means today, that's kind of true. But even in Europe, a lot of people use socialists as like government spending, which I thought was only an American thing. But even when I was in Sweden, people would say like, "Oh yeah, like we believe like in socialist stuff here," and then they would talk about like, "Yeah, like we've got like free healthcare and stuff." And I'm like, okay, so I don't know. This is a bit oversimplified. For example, anarchists believe in liberalism while not sharing economic beliefs. Well, but an anarchist probably believes you're hitting like really deep political philosophy that I'm just not studied in. But I would say foundationally, there's a fundamental difference between a society that believes in freedom of speech as a thing that naturally emerges from people that just exist with each other with no government versus somebody like a liberal who believes that freedom of speech is something to be protected by a federal government. I think that these two people are different. I don't know if you would call an anarchist, like, because they believe in freedom of speech, they're a liberal. I don't think they believe in it in the same way. But I could be wrong. I'm not, like I said, I'm not like super well read into a ton of political philosophy. Do you think the right-wing attacks on Walz being goofy, bumbling, incompetent, etc. are going to stick with moderates at all, or do they just come off as desperate? I have no idea. One of the big problems with this MAGA shit is really bad. The more I think about it, like the more bad I realize everything is. The bad thing is that you got to realize that once Trump is gone, like these people are going to continue to exist in our country, and they're going to continue to believe the crazy things they believe. And how is that going to filter down to their children, right? Like imagine right now, imagine 20 years from now, people are having kids, or they already have kids, and their kids are like going to school, and the parents are talking to their kids like, okay, listen, today you're learning about way back in 2020 for the election. They're not going to tell you this in school, but in 2020, they actually stole the election from Donald Trump. He actually was the real winner of that election. They won't teach you that in the history class, though, right? Like there's a whole bunch of stupid shit like that could get, like, do you think that their opinions are all going to change on that? I have no idea. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what the course correction looks like. But the adults today came from somewhere too. These people have always been in society. As American hating as the Trumples that exist today, as anti-American, I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe it will look like the complete 180 on the Iraq War. Maybe. Someone I play D&D with doesn't vax their kid now? Yeah, that's fucking wild to me, dude. Holy shit. If it's really just liberals versus illiberals, then why do fascists hate communists so much? Well, once they're in power, they hate them. But I mean, fascists and communists, I mean, what do you think the Red-Brown Alliance means? They'll work together to fight liberals, of course. Am I fucking retarded? Hello? It hurts to say as a Bernie fan, but the 2016 primary now seems at least a touch as destructive to people's brains as Trump. The whole superdelegate, anti-establishment stuff fueled so much distrust in institutions. I don't know why it took until 2016 to happen, but it was a huge inflection point to populist rhetoric on both sides, unironically. Yeah, but unfortunately, the problem is nobody can engage. The Brexit talking point wasn't random. What? This message will literally live in your mind. I actually, Bernie was going to lose superdelegate or not, okay? So people need to let go of that. Bernie was always going to lose, okay? Superdelegates or not, Bernie was always going to lose. Number one. Number two, superdelegates, I think, are a good idea in concept, and they just don't work in practice because nobody in the United States has any appreciation or understanding for democratic systems. The idea behind a superdelegate, funnily enough, is supposed to be to protect your party from choosing candidates that are destructive to the party. If Republicans use superdelegates, they wouldn't have had their party destroyed by Donald Trump, which it has been. So potentially, right? Superdelegates might be important to help you move a little bit in a direction. Like, let's say it's close between a guy who is clearly bad for your party versus a guy who's not. Superdelegates might have helped you avoid that. How can I not get this to go in? Oh, I'm fucking retarded. I wonder if you could set up an NAS on your network to save your recordings to while streaming. Oh, I've thought about that, but what's the point of doing that versus just throwing everything on Google Drive? I don't see like a reason for that, other than also I don't like the idea of I don't need people accessing my fucking network and shit all the time. Fuck that. It's actually someone saying how many conservatives are pretending nothing is being done about the floods in North Carolina, and they tie it back to Ukraine. Now the Kremlin talking about, yeah, it's. Again, you don't have to deal with reality when reality is in the abstract. Most people don't live in North Carolina. Most people have no fucking idea. So, yeah. I'm going to try to transfer something from my computer onto this and see if it goes at high speed. 1 second. No, paranoid. Veto canceled on us? Oh, based. Are we returning to the normal streaming schedule? After the election, everything will be chill. After I get this J6 video to an editor, but I'm probably going to, I imagine I'm going to have to work with the editor a lot, personally. Because now, unfortunately, now I have I got a lot of ideas in my head. This is my patriotic duty to make this video and not suck shit. Not that it would suck shit, but one thing I need to do One thing I need to do better is I haven't been good, probably because before I started Vyvanse, I just don't do big projects because I just don't have the attention span for it. Now that I can do big projects, I need to do a better job at like working on them a little bit. Because now it feels like this happened with the Israel stuff a little too. Now when I do a big project, I just want to like dump all my time into it. And it's really hard to just work on something for 2 hours a day. But I need to be able to do that. I think it's important. You did manifestos before Vyvanse, though? The Bob 7 manifesto was done in about 12 hours. I stayed up all night working on that. The Kevils manifesto was 2 weeks of grinding after stream every single night, staying up for a night. It was about 2 weeks, I think. The Vosh manifesto, how long did that take? I don't remember how long that one took. That was a lot of writing. The N-word manifesto, that one was like one night too, I think, right? That was like a 12-hour binge. Seems like Vyvanse is just slowing you down. True, yeah. Did you and Glenn Laurie debate about anything? Because it's right. No, I kind of wanted to. I don't know what to do about bridges when I bring on people that I disagree with because I feel uncomfortable like debating them. I don't know how I should do that. Bro, I read more into the I hate everything. I read more into the George Floyd shit. I would have gone way harder on that if I'd known. After having the argument with that one guy, and then going over a little bit on stream, I went over like the autopsy and everything. That dude definitely died to Chauvin. Not only did he definitely die because of Chauvin, reasonable minds cannot disagree on that. And anybody that says that he was having an overdose is totally misinformed on literally everything having to do with drugs, everything having to do with drugs being converted to active ingredients to your body. Like, it's an impossibly stupid statement to make. I wish I would have known more beforehand. God, I feel like everything is... Fuck me. Okay, I'm going to see if this records at speed. The fucking autopsy literally mentions that a fent addict would be fine with that level in their system. It was like, yeah, but it wasn't even so much that too. Like in your bloodstream, after you do fentanyl, it converts to, what am I looking for? Fentanyl converts to something else in your bloodstream, and the majority of it had already been converted. Like, it was clear he did it a while ago, and he wasn't ODing, he wasn't dying. Someone in chat will say it. I want to say norfentanyl. Oh, maybe that is it. Okay, yeah. There's just no chance that he was having an overdose. It just doesn't make any sense. It's fucking retarded. Have you ever thought about getting like a politician media training to level up the shamelessness/rhetoric and just talk over those people in debates? I just don't want to do that. That's so boring. When are you going to say that you were wrong about the Steele dossier? It's been long enough, dude. You constantly say you're willing to change your opinions or prove it. Wrong about what about the Steele dossier? Some of the allegations in there, I think, were true. Some of them are yet to be true or undetermined or seem to be not true. What do you mean? Destiny, there was nothing in there of value. The false claims overshadowed everything else. That whole document was BS. The whole thing wasn't BS. It was Oppo research. No? I don't understand what you are so ass-pained about. Should I remind you to talk about Israel of the White House? There's nothing to talk about. When I said that, stuff was still like breaking and unfolding, and I don't even know what was... All I basically heard was just that they'd run like a social media check on everybody, and that everybody failed spectacularly. That's all I'd heard at the time. I don't even know if that much information was out, though, so I said ask me in a year, because I don't want to say anything that I was being told behind the scenes. But that was it. There's like nothing super juicy or anything from any of that, unfortunately. Destiny, quoted from the wiki. The Senate Intelligence Committee criticized the FBI's efforts to corroborate the allegations because they were lacking in both thoroughness and rigor. Literally, that whole document was nonsense and shouldn't have been vocalized as it was. It wasn't even vocalized that much. What are you talking about? I don't think anybody was making decisions on that election relating to the Steele dossier. Hillary Clinton's email shit was way more impactful than anything on that stupid dossier that BuzzFeed published. What are you talking about? The only people that talk about the Steele dossier are Trump supporters, unironically. True! Why don't you follow the Avi argument in the Twitter space that an opiate OD is like the exact opposite of what George Floyd did, i.e. gas for air? I mean, we've talked about it before, but I mean, like, for when people that don't do drugs recreationally try to talk about drugs, I mean, you can't really communicate with, I don't know what you even say, right? Did you realize in the moment how incredible it was that John literally just admitted he wants people he doesn't like to get prosecuted, but wants people he does to walk free? I mean, it's not really that surprising. But remember what I said before. I said this, and that guy kind of proved it. But these are also a bunch of kids, so that's another thing to consider as well. Trump supporters are okay with fascism. You just can't call it fascism. You just have to describe it in other words, and then they'll be like totally a-okay with it. They'll be chill. If you call it fascism, they're going to have like an immediately negative response to it. But is he streaming to his PC via USB? I thought he'd be using the Blackmagic Deck link to capture the video streams from the cameras and route them into OBS. That is what I do, but the HDMI output of the camera is significantly lower quality than what the Blackmagic cameras record to. So you're getting a feed from the stream via HDMI, but obviously this is just a live HDMI feed that's also going into OBS and then being compressed at OBS. But even what comes out of the HDMI port is significantly lower in quality than what the camera records to. Please initialize your new blank SSD before using it. Why? Does that matter? Don't know, don't care. Trump supporters have a negative response to even being called Trump supporters. That's why they self-label as moderates and independents. True, actually. True. I think you did in the debates, you made a positive case for immigration instead of just making a case that Kamala is willing to be as strict on immigration. I feel like former was missing in your immigration-related combos for some time. Yeah, I'm trying to make more positive arguments. It's really hard, though. I hate these motherfuckers. I hate these motherfuckers. Were you surprised at how mask off he was last night? A little bit. I didn't expect he would cop to so much crazy shit, but what are you gonna do, man? The Trump tariffs would focus here in Australia. You could use that as a talking point about Trump's foreign policy. I can't believe that even if Trump won, that we would do tariffs. I really don't know. The problem is that the Republican Party has absolutely no backbone, so nobody will stand up to Trump. But it would actually be like self-destruction. Like a 20% tariff on every product, it would be insane. What are the implications of a 20% tariff on economically retarded? It would just mean that basically everything in the United States would probably cost like 10 to 20% more. Like every single thing you buy would just cost that much more because almost everything has some form of like foreign involvement in terms of manufacturing. It would just be, but it's like such an unhinged, unbelievable, and it would mean counter tariffs as well. So we would export less too because people would do retaliatory tariffs. There's just no way. I can't believe it. That would just be insane. It's like destroying your economy 101. The issue is that Trump can do unilateral tariffs. Yeah, I don't know why the president has the ability to do that. I would have to see where the executive authority for that comes from. It's kind of wacky to me, in my opinion, but can you explain in detail how tariffs work? I think it basically just means anything you ship into the country has a tax. You just pay like an import tax. That's what a tariff is, right? It's an import tax. So if I buy something from Europe, I have to pay an extra 10% or 20% tax when it comes into the country. How do you think all the conservatives would spin all the higher prices? How they spin everything. They just blame the Democrats. Everything that happens under Democrats is Democrats' fault. And everything that happens under conservatives is also Democrats' faults. Like, the BLM riots happened under Donald Trump. That was Donald Trump who was president. Well, the BLM riots happened. But that was Democrats' fault. When they talked about like black people losing, he mentioned like black people losing their houses. He made a reference to economic policies not helping black people in housing or whatever. And I wanted to counter this, but I don't think I got to because I was ran out of time. 2007, the housing collapse, that happened under Bush, but that was like also somehow the Democrats' fault. I think like everything is the Democrats' fault. I don't know why. It's fucking retarded. Can you explain what MFN applied duties and final bound duties are? I have no fucking idea. Motherfucking, you know what. When you're talking about like final bound duties or stuff like that, my guess is going to be that it's a way to tax things that are like partially made in other countries or something like that. That'd be my guess, but I have no idea. Does it not also destroy relations? Yeah, it's really bad for relations. Nobody likes it when people start tariffing. Who put the tariff idea into Trump's head? Who the f knows? Whoever talked to him last, I guess, right? Isn't that how Trump normally works? I like a lot of Kamala's plans, but isn't the 50K tax deduction for startups kind of irrelevant because most startups don't turn a profit in year one? Maybe, but I imagine it would probably be a some kind of carry forward thing or something. I don't know, that'd be my guess. I'm totally guessing there. They'd have to find some way to make it relevant because you're right. Why didn't Biden revoke Trump's tariffs? When tariffs are put in place, oh, now I see why I didn't use this thing, because now you can't take the fucking drive out. When somebody puts a tariff in place, then usually what happens is the other side puts up retaliatory tariffs. So that means that in order for the tariffs to be eliminated, you have to engage with the other side, and you have to reach a settlement, you have to reach a deal in order to undo them. So putting a tariff in place is a lot easier than getting rid of a tariff. Because you put a tariff in place, you just boom, you put it in place, and now you have a tariff. Then the other side puts up a tariff. Well, now you can't bring yours down without them taking theirs down because they'd have a huge advantage. So now you have to do like it's a whole ass negotiation thing. I don't understand what you mean by tariffs are universally bad for economy. Looking at real rates, I don't get why some well-off economies like South Korea and China can have as high as 13%. For what? On everything? Tariffs are generally, they do short-term damage to your economy in that they make it so that everything costs more. I mean, if you're trying to protect a certain industry so that you can grow it, you could invest in an industry and you could use tariffs as a way to protect it. But isn't it also an issue that Biden tries to pander to the economic populist sentiments that Trump espouses? I've never heard Biden speak favorably about tariffs with China. Has he? Oh, I think they might have done tariffs for electric vehicles. That's the thing I think I've heard him talk about. Why don't you typically bring up Trump's Russian ties via money laundering? I try to avoid the Russia stuff when I can because Trump, I don't know. Because I'm letting Republicans dictate my brain to me. There are so many things that on his own are like just deal breakers for Trump. The lack of divestment for a guy that owns that much like foreign business is really, 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 really shady. But what are you going to do? Be cucked, I guess. It's the actual Trump derangement syndrome. The actual Trump derangement syndrome is that Trump sycophants will defend him literally no matter what. Do you think going forward, the insane rhetoric and lying from conservatives will continue even if Trump loses? Yeah, the problem is that right now, there's just no punishing mechanism for it. All of the most successful people in media right now are liars, right? Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, like these people are all liars. In alternative media, it's all liars. So why the fuck would you do anything honestly? Like, it's so stupid. It's a waste of time, right? Why do research or reading? We just do like another show or lie some more. You could lose audience members from doing it. Well, fuck, here's the economic reporter thing that just came out that kind of hurts my agenda. That's going to look bad, right? Like, it's just so annoying. You can't. Yeah, there's no reward right now or incentive to be truthful or honest. So why waste your time? They should have just done that their content stating it's not informative journalism, but merely entertainment, a la Fox News. Yeah, but even people still take it as news, though. That wouldn't matter. I feel like Joe Rogan isn't necessarily a liar, but more just a misled person who, if he had spoke to the right people early on, wouldn't have probably been. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The effect is still cancerous. It's destructive on the media landscape. Hey, Destiny, is this toning down the rhetoric?
Led Savage to raped and murdered Rachel on Pablo and she murdered them. In my Pablo murdered him, just like she had a gun in her head.
Based. Turn down the rhetoric only applies to that's only for Democrats. Like triple echo? Yeah, that audio is fucked. I don't know why. Lawson Harrison, how strongly have you been getting the feeling lately that it's no longer just content anymore and rather actual political consequences? Yeah, I've been feeling that quite a bit ever since I got back from Israel, which is kind of fucked me a little bit and is getting really annoying. Yeah, the Trump stuff is really fucking me up. Holy shit. Were you meant to be in the debate with John Doyle? Yeah, I had a flight that landed in Philadelphia, and then an hour after it landed, my next flight was to SCE, which is the airport outside of Penn State. But my flight got delayed by like 40 minutes coming from, what was that before Philadelphia? I don't remember where my connection was. I think it was in North Carolina, which maybe would have been Raleigh. Is that the airport for North Carolina? No, Charlotte is the airport, CLT, right? And then, of course, the other flight was on time. So by the time I got off my plane, I had like 2 minutes to make my fucking connection, and it was already gone. How's the political stuff with your head? I think for the first time ever, I think I genuinely feel like we're on a bad path right now. We're like things are not good right now. And not good like in a temporary sense, but like not good in a like a systemic sense. Like we're in a direction that is going to be hard to come back from, I think. What do you mean? Just we lack the ability to live in the same world right now. And I think that's highly problematic. And it's getting worse and worse and worse, and it's really, really, really bad right now. Like the fact that people can just so easily and blatantly lie is a really big problem, and it's getting worse up to where like the ex-president Donald Trump, can just say things that are just like completely and totally not true. It's like complete total bullshit. But there's like no consequences for any of it. I think that's the issue. How could you fix that without doing something illiberal? I have no idea. What kind of consequences would you propose? I don't even know. I feel like for like Tim Pool and Candace Owens, I feel like these people should be in jail. Like that's the level of, I couldn't imagine doing like 1/5 of what they were doing and not feel like I would be doing something criminal or illegal. Like it's just insane. Why do you think older people like yourself have such an affinity for Israel? Is because you grew up when 9/11 happened and think it's the worst thing in the universe and all Muslims are evil? Yep. I can guarantee that revolutions don't work. No, it's not. The problem isn't a revolution, because the problem isn't the problem is that a lot of people like believe this shit. It's a culture problem, right? You think there's a core disagreement / event that's causing so many people to diverge from reality like this? Whenever I get into arguments with my pro-Russian family members and ask them what makes the EU or USA so bad compared to Russia, it almost always boils down to gays and trans people. No. I think that it's never like one big thing. It's always like little events that build up over time, and people take them for granted. Should I lie about my lack of romantic history on dates? I'm 25 with 0 relationship experience. I've been told it's a major red flag / creepy. I feel like it depends on how you come across. I don't know. I feel like if you're starting off a date or something, lying about your background or your experience, one, the person's going to find out, just because you'll probably give it away by the way that you act. And then two, listen, if you have the confidence to do whatever, then, tell somebody you have no experience, whatever, right? Like I don't understand. If you're the type of person that's really shy or embarrassed about having no experience, and you're also the type of person that has no experience, you're probably going to have the personality type of a person that has no experience. So saying you have experience is not going to magically fix all of that, would be my guess. Mazan says 27K letter was sent to protest his talk on campus, blaming DGG. 27K letter? Like signatures? I would support it. If people ever want to post that shit for like blocking him from talking or any of those people like that, I would support it. Fuck them. People are crazy. And they're just not good people to talk to. They shouldn't have a voice. Fuck them for now. Nothing ever happens. He's getting more and more popular and getting more positive coverage in the media. Hassan is unstoppable. ATP. I don't know what ATP means, but I'm pretty sure that's completely wrong. I'm pretty sure Hassan has lost a significant amount of popularity. I can't validate this in any way, but it wouldn't surprise me if right now, if Hassan began to viewbot the last time he got mind-fucked over his decrease in viewership, it wouldn't surprise me if he has like a gentle, like 5 to 15K viewer viewbot on his stream right now. I could be totally wrong on that. One of the things that I thought was really weird, and who knows, hey, maybe I'll check it now and maybe it'll be totally different, but I think I saw, he did that Twitch, oh my god, that sound is so fucking annoying. He did that Twitch debate show. The viewership on that was astounding. I would have expected that to be at its prime. That's a 1 million view video easily. Maybe it is though. Maybe the first day was rough on YouTube or something, or I saw it wrong. Oh yeah, like this is wild. On his channel, this got less than 200,000 views. This is like a this is like a main production, like Twitch-backed, other huge content creators involved, like first episode premiere launch of a show. And it's sitting at 185,000 views. It was posted a week ago. What's my debate with like John Doyle at right now? Oh, like my projector debate is already at it's already at more views. I don't understand what's happening. Yeah, I'm not sure. Could be because most people watched it on a stream. What? He had 500,000 concurrent viewers? No. I think Hassan is not very popular online, and he's not very popular in the political space. He's literally just really popular on Twitch because he's been granted a monopoly on the Twitch audience. That's it. That's where he's popular at. It's where that's his stomping ground. But like if you look at him, anytime he steps outside of Twitch, like when he does interviews with other people or whatever, he just doesn't really pull much viewership. What's the last other podcast that he went on? Like I know when he was on the iced coffee hour or whatever, his last visit there. Like just not very good. This one a year ago was way better. So a year ago, and I think this is even more than a year ago. This was on May of last year in 2023, 610,000 view video. This one 5 months ago, 230,000 views. I think he's slipped quite a bit. Even on Twitch, he's relegated to the political section. A lot of big names are streaming on IRL section now. Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't really have an in with the new popular crowd. He's still kind of stuck with the old popular crowd. And I don't know how much they like him at the moment. Do you think his viewership would be significantly smaller if you were unbanned on Twitch? Otherwise, how does he have a monopoly on Twitch viewers? Yes, I think it would impact him significantly. The thing is, in Hassan's two major stomping grounds, which were Twitch and LSF, he enjoyed like very heavy institutional protections on those stomping grounds. So on Twitch, for instance, I've been banned for 2 years. There are no other voices on that platform that are of his size or even within an order of magnitude of his size that are conservative. The only other ones are all people that reinforce his point of view. So like Denims, I think, and Mike from PA are the other two similarly, or not, I'm sorry, those are the other two large streamers that do politics on that platform. And they echo his political beliefs 100%. So he gets exclusive reign on the Twitch audience, which also means that people on Twitch don't see pushback against Hassan because where are you going to go to see it? That's number one. So he can say basically whatever he wants about me on that platform and he gets a free pass for it. But two, he also enjoyed institutional protection on LSF because LSF banned all of our, they banned all politics and they banned for a while, I think they still have it banned, like Hassan Destiny drama, in which Hassan basically always looks bad. And they banned that probably largely because Hassan and his audience cried about it because he always looked bad. Hassan would always run to the LSF mods. We've all seen publicly him trying to get banned from LSF because he was so pained about his clips ever being posted there. And then finally he got like a full-on content ban and everything so that he could be protected. So Hassan has a monopoly on Twitch politics. He has institutional support and protection in the form of the CEO being on his stream and liking him and me being banned. And then on LSF, he's basically, there's a set of rules that have been concocted largely because of his crying that also largely favor him. So those two things removed, I think it would significantly hurt Hassan, yes. Not even just his audience, it hurts his mental too. He has a really hard time dealing with criticism and pushback. Like it fucks with his head a lot, you could tell when he's crying in his Discord about that. Why don't you kneel on Stale more? I never like to be perceived as a person who is, trying to like rig an institution in his favor. I don't think I've ever done that ever, and I don't intend to start. I think the LSF mod should change it, but if they changed it and it seemed like the impetus was coming from me to change it, then people are just going to assume that I have the institutional favor. Even though they already do that, which is fucking annoying, but... Are you saying you would switch to Twitch from YouTube if they unbanned you? No, I mean, I'd duo stream though, of course. I think it's criminal that he has exclusive access to just fucking pollute the fucking children's minds on that platform. It's crazy. There's like a pro-terrorist sympathizer on Twitch that has no pushback whatsoever. That's just wild to me. For like super impressionable people. How much do you think Hassan could jump back after the election? Do you think he has a chance for a second win? No. I think the problem with Hassan though, it's not his content and it's not him. The problem is it's not his content or like his personality. The problem is it's just he doesn't have the tenacity to actually do something in life that is like challenging. It all has to kind of be set up for him or handed to him as easily as possible. So for example, whoa, sorry, I understood that. Hassan has like a pretty entertaining personality. Like he could make it doing other forms of content, but Jesus, sorry. There's no reason why he has to do only, what he does. But the problem is anytime he tries to switch up and do something different, he doesn't have the same viewership numbers. They start to fall, and then he gets scared, and then he runs back to what he knows best. But the problem is that he grew on that huge, like, tanky, or not tanky, the Zoomer socialist bullshit. That's like where his explosive growth came from initially. And as that community is receding, which it is, he's losing audience like pretty dramatically as a result of that, because he hasn't built his own brand out, because he doesn't have faith in his own brand. Hassan is also pretty big on Twitter, to be fair. There's plenty of women who are his fans on there, and he often gets pretty good engagement. His engagement on Twitter is okay, but his engagement on Twitter is, it's largely just like, it's like pushing, hold on. Why do you think socialism is so popular with young people? Because it's radical. People are mad at the system. They say, F the system. Why are they mad at a system that they barely had a chance to participate in? I mean, when you're young, you have like nothing to really be mad at. What do you have? You've got like your parents and like that's it, right? So you look for something to rage against, you rebel, you get mad at the system, you do whatever. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, again, you should be mad as a kid. You should be mad at everything. You're a kid. You're looking for stuff to form an identity around. Early adolescence is a super formative time in your life where you're trying to create an identity of your own. It's just sad when going on 40-year-old men are capitalizing on it, I guess. In true capitalist form. What were we saying about Hassan's Twitter engagement? Oh, I was saying I don't really think his Twitter engagement is that great, is it? For being somebody that has 2 million... doesn't he have over 2 million subs? 8.1. The fact that he ran for the... Who can I donate to offset this bad event that just happened? It's so funny, too, because it's like, God... I don't know if his audience would ever realize this. It's so funny because Hassan is utilizing charities here in the exact same way that they claim that capitalists utilize charities. Oh, you're just using a charity basically to get something off your back, right? Oh, you're just trying to like donate or, you know, to keep people from realizing that you've corrupted the whole system and done shit. Like it's the exact same shit. It was hilarious. His Twitter engagement seems okay though, actually. It's pretty decent. I feel like I would have over 1 million Twitter followers pretty easily if I hadn't been banned like 7 times. I'm surprised how quickly I got up to 250 or 270K. And I don't really tweet that much. Should tweet more. Said no one ever. Do you have any advice for people trying to engage intelligently and effectively in their local politics as a voter/activist? No. Good luck. I don't have much experience myself doing it, so I can't really give you guys advice on it. Sorry. What do you think Vance's strategy will be tonight? I don't know. I don't know how much the... elections are even impacted by vice president stuff. Also, I don't even know really what he can do. And I don't know what people are expecting to do. Like, people already know what they're getting with Walz and Vance. I don't know if anybody's mind is being changed by any debate at this point. Like, I feel like everything about Walz has been pretty catastrophic up to now, and it seems like nobody's really cared on the Republican side of things, so... Are you planning to swap the table? It looks kind of cheap. I think it's like a $2,000 table. No plans. Like I said, I don't think I want to make any major changes to this place for a while. I need to run this like stably for like a month or two. Walz or Vance? Did I misspeak? Everything that it seems like Vance has had like Vance, right? Has had like 50 million crazy things that he said, but like none of it seems to matter. It's not impacting Trump at all. Like, I don't think it even matters. You know what Donald Trump should have done? Trump should have just made a new LLC, and he should have just had the LLC as a person be his vice presidential nominee. And it could just be like literally an empty corp that's nothing. Because Trumpers don't give a fuck about any of it. And all they're voting on the ticket is for Trump anyway, right? So why even have like a real human there? Like who the fuck cares? Damn, this would be so sick to play over. I'm rewatching the stream, and I have a point. What you said about the political left-right scale being off, if you go by the political compass, where you have a y-axis with authoritarian at the top and anarchist at the bottom, is there selling the idea that far left, or that left-right is on the map tone, are selling the idea that left-right is on that map top left to bottom right, when in reality it is rather bottom left to top right, if that makes sense. Oh, actually true. I'm sorry, this reads like a stroke comment, but no, you're actually completely right. Actually, wait, can I bring that up? That's so stupid. That's so stupid, but that is how everybody views it, and it's so not true. Conservatives make it sound like the natural, like, progression of politics in the United States. This is what that comment said. The difference between how smart that comment was and how stupid that comment seemed is quite stark. Conservatives make it sound like this is your political axis right now. that the further left you go, oh, they're communists, they're authoritarian communists. But when you go all the way to the right, it's like Trump, who's like the most freest dude in the world. Like Donald Trump just wants there to be maximum freedom from everybody or for everybody. So this is like what the political paradigm really is. So if you're a centrist, you're here. And then the more right you go, the more conservative you go, the more libertarian and free you become. And the more left you go, the more authoritarian you become. This is how conservatives sell the political compass in the United States. It's true. Yeah. When in reality, yeah, where are we at right now? I wonder how you would even draw this. I feel like it would look more something like this or something, maybe? I'm not sure. Or if we go down here. Because it wouldn't look like this. I don't think that the furthest left are like super libertarian because we still like want like taxes and shit like that. There's probably something more, and it wouldn't necessarily be all the way up here. It'd be something akin to like, probably something like this. I don't know. Which statement resonates more with you? The best things in my life are those that I've built, or the best things in my life are those that I've lucked into? Definitely the former. I don't give a fuck about things you luck into. That's why I've never given a fuck about like ethnic background or genealogy or family heritage or any of that bullshit. Genealogy? That's for like family trees and stuff, right? Why the fuck would I care what my great grandfather did? I don't care how many slaves he owned. I'm gonna own slaves all on my own. Why don't you use connections to get unbanned off Twitch instead of making an appeal every 6 months? What connections do I have on Twitch? All my connections are to former employees. If you had to get a degree in something that interests you right now, what would you go for? I mean, the meme would be law, obviously, right? It seems super interesting, and I feel like we've done so much reading on it, and it like encompasses, like, I think a law degree would be awesome too because, well, I was about to talk shit and make something up. I would guess that there's got to be like a pre-law track that includes a lot of political philosophy and stuff. That'd be my guess. Is that true? That like a political science degree of some type would lead very neatly into like, or be part of a pre-law track, and I would be super interested in all of those classes. Ugh. Although going to law school right now must be really scary because you have no fucking idea. Not scary, I guess. I was gonna say, who knows how relevant any of the classes that you take will be after the Supreme Court's had its way with our current constitutional interpretations. Was your intro for Doyle from your video at all? No, I just totally fucking freeballed that. Oh, I was really annoyed. I didn't know there was going to be an intro. I thought about just giving it all up, but then I just started rambling, and I figured maybe I could just yap my way through it. Fuck it. I feel like I know enough random shit at this point. Ugh. Aren't the Supreme Court judges getting impeached? I don't even know what the process is like for that. Like, I think there is a process, right? Is it just an impeachment vote starts in the Senate? My guess is going to be there's no precedent for it. Also, I hate saying this. I hope Peace Go or Josiah aren't here. I'm a radical institutionalist, okay? I'm a radical institutionalist, all right? I would say the concept of if you impeach a Supreme Court justice, it should be for improper behavior, not for bad legal rulings. Because the idea of we're going to impeach Supreme Court justices that rule in ways that we don't like is a big overstep probably of the legislature, right? But I don't know then. Let's say, can a Supreme Court justice really truly just say, like, well, actually, is your First Amendment right to murder people or to get rid of all conspiracy crimes? Who knows? Is Israel invading Lebanon based or cringe? Bro, don't ask me literally anything about Lebanon. I'm pretty sure I've been saying for the past 6 months that if Israel does anything to Lebanon or Hezbollah, they're going to get their shit pushed in after what happened in 2006. And Israel is like completely annihilated like all of Hezbollah before they even invaded. So, holy shit. Jesus Christ. What about Judge Cannon, who is nakedly partisan, though? I mean, nakedly partisan? She was citing shit that Thomas said, right? What's the goal of invading Lebanon? I have no idea. Taking out Hezbollah, no? I mean, you can't just, like, take them out, though, right? Dude, I can't believe Hassan said they were part of the fucking government. Oh, my God. How many seats does Hezbollah have in the Lebanese parliament? Can somebody look this up? Why would he say that? That was such an insane comment. That was so crazy. Like, oh, they're like the Democrats or the Republicans, you know, bro? They're just like one of the parties. God, he's so fucking evil. Actually evil. Unironically, actually evil. Why'd you have kids' gloves on for stale? I guess you got political clips back, so it worked. Did I get political clips back? I don't think I had kid gloves on for him. What do I need to do? Oh, I should angle this. I don't care. You guys don't need to see my fucking face. Hezbollah plans to do a similar October 7th attack. Yeah, maybe. Also, holy shit! Did you guys see that? Supposedly the head of what was it? It was like one of the Iranian spy organizations or whatever. The head was like fucking what, like fucking like Mohammed Akbar Stein or something. It was like a fucking Jew. Not that wasn't the actual name, but like what the fuck? It was a Jewish dude. It was Mossad. They're everywhere. I don't believe Israel plans to go in fully. Oh no, I mean like the goal is probably to just. I think normally what you want to do is you just want to back them off the. There's a name for that river up there. I don't remember it. But you want to back them a little bit off of it so that they can't stage attacks there. Because I think what Hezbollah does is they try to like move citizens and shit up to live in the villages and shit, so they can just like launch rockets and attacks and stuff from there. Litani? It might be the Litani River. I think that's it. Is expansion of Israel's military action in Lebanon not a sign of Benny and ambition to create a greater Israel? I don't know what you mean by greater Israel, but I do know that Israel would probably like more buffer between them and Hezbollah. Is Israel trying to oh, fuck me. Is Israel trying to delegitimize the Lebanese government? Is probably bad for the region overall. I think Israel is going into Lebanon trying to control more territory is a very destabilizing factor. I mean, the territory is already controlled by Hezbollah. So I mean, like, what? I mean, how could they delegitimize the Lebanese government any more than they've already delegitimized themselves? No offense. Do you think any real insight could be gained from us listening to real Trumples talk? I don't know. At this point, I think I just need more experience debating them. I really haven't done that many, like, compared to what we used to do. On the Liberal Project podcast, they alluded to a group of normie Trumples who are just really disengaged Republicans. You think those people are out there and we're in a hyper-engaged bubble? Yeah, of course. The main fault lies with like the horrible content creators, like your people like your Tim Fools and shit, and your Candace Owens and your Joe Rogans. Like these are the people that are destroying these other people. It's not really the average normie's fault. They just live in a totally different world. Do you think the current political movement can resolve positively, or are the trends and force of history are of inevitability taking us in a more extreme direction? History is not inevitable. Things can go other ways. It's possible. But right now we have to recognize that we are going in an unsustainable direction. Why hasn't blatant misinformation been this extreme of an issue before? What specifically caused the political apathy that spawned someone like Trump? Well, the issue now is that you can communicate with people that are far away from you and you can talk to them about things that they have no way to verify, right? So if I tell you what's going on at the border, you'll believe me. You don't know if it's true or not. None of you have any fucking idea, right? I could say right now that actually 0 new immigrants have come into the country or 50 million new immigrants have come into the country. And you would have no idea. Either way, you really would have no idea. So there's no way to, because the information is so national or international, you just have no way of verifying anything. So people are able to lie with impunity, meaning, what does it say? ABCD, meaning, yeah, they can lie with impunity. And you can do it because of the internet largely, right? You can connect so many different communities together. It's harder to tell lies. The more local the lie, the harder it is to pass off as a good lie, right? Also, spreading misinfo / speaking without actual research backing claims, but in an appealing way is encouraged by social media algorithms, especially in 2020 with the boom of TikTok and short format content. Maybe. I mean, I'm sure telling people what they wanted to hear before was probably appealing as well. But I think there was more credibility before too. And again, the lies, it was more local. Why do you need a portable mic for election night? Well, we're having, I imagine, well, no, we've got a decent chunk of people plan to be here, but I don't think I'm going to set up like a new mic for every single person. And for some people to move around the room, I think it'd just be nicer if they had portable mics like what I'm wearing now. And this seems to be a decent quality, or at least nobody seems to be able to notice that I'm just on a portable, or it's fine. And can you leak who? No, it's just all the people you guys know already, like Pisco and Josiah and stuff. I don't know if we've confirmed anybody big yet. I think I can get the Act Man to come. Thoughts on setting up a second screen for election night that will be like the EC map or the New York Times Needles? I think I'm going to pay a guy who does a lot of data analysis to give us our own little like election desk. I'm in talks with that guy. We have to set up a meeting soon. Does it like kind of professionally, which would be cute if it works, or it'll just be a fucking disaster and then it'll be content.
Oh, and this is the U.S. intel view that among the targets were Israeli airfields, but also, and this is crucial, the headquarters of Mossad, the international intelligence service of Israel, which is inside Tel Aviv. It's in the northern part of Tel Aviv, but it's in the city. It's in a densely populated area. And of course, the concern is if you're firing, even though Iran might consider that a military target, it is in a densely populated city with civilians around it. And that's just one more layer of escalation. The U.S.
You should just they should just be fired. You should just be fired and never allowed to comment on anything in the region. I would kill myself if I was a Jewish person. I would just commit suicide immediately. If I had to listen to U.S. media talk about anything, like, oh no, what if they start shooting at Israeli civilians? Holy shit, imagine the horror. I would just kill myself if I had to listen to other people talk about this. Holy What was wrong with the take? Human shields imply that there is some strategic advantage to be gained by shielding yourself with civilians because the other side will be hesitant to attack. The other side targets civilians. So accusing Israel of using human shields when people do things like October 7th to them and then clap is fucking retarded. It doesn't make any sense. Israel wouldn't use human shields because the enemy doesn't care if they kill civilians. There's no strategic advantage to be gained from doing so. It doesn't help. And Iran and everybody else already targets areas that have civilians in them, so it's just retarded. There's a road one as well that's really popular.
Now, as far as I understand, the Iranian message ahead of time was they're not trying to target civilian targets. They are trying to target military targets. The problem is, you know what? I'll let CNN's Jim Surito explain what the problem is when you're targeting military targets. Let's take a look.
Remember before when when Hamas fights from Gaza, they fight with no military uniforms and they hide munitions inside civilian homes and then they booby-trap those homes. Now, when you confront people like Hassan on this, they go, well, where else are they supposed to fight from? But apparently for Israel, if they have any military bases anywhere, all of it is intentionally done to maximize civilian casualties. Okay, chief. I guess I can't use the same excuses?
The U.S. intel view that among the targets were Israeli.
Why I don't need to watch this. I don't need to get mad at this right now. This year, both the Harris and Trump campaigns agreed to sit down with 60 Minutes. Vice President Harris will speak with correspondent Bill Whitaker. After initially accepting 60 Minutes' request for an interview with Scott Pelley, former President Trump's campaign has decided not to participate. Pelley will address this Monday evening. Our election special will broadcast the Harris interview on Monday as planned. Our original invitation to former President Donald Trump to be interviewed on 60 Minutes stands. Yikes. Give up on Twitch, but what will it take for an MSM outlet to report on Twitch extremists supporting terror groups? Nobody gives a fuck, bro. Nobody cares. Nobody gives any fucks. What am I looking for? Power. No one cares, little bro. No one cares. Okay? My friend said your take on Russia-Ukraine contradicts your Palestine-Israel position. Did not elaborate on how exactly. How do I own him? Tell him that Israel, Palestine, and Russia and Ukraine are different, therefore you can't compare them, and then call him a dumb f***, and then shoot him in the face with love and kindness and compassion. Because that's the best way to get people to agree with you. USC receives 27,000 letters protesting Hassan's talk. There's no way it was 27,000 letters. I don't believe that.
With a professor that invited me to speak to her student in recent times. Let me tell you, I just I did a thing at USC last night with a professor that invited me to speak to her students and whoever wanted to attend. And there was a letter campaign apparently by 27,000 letters saying that I should not attend, that USC must not have me on board or welcome me as a guest. So that's usually how it works on social media recent times. Let me tell you, I just I did a thing at USC
That's pretty funny. I don't believe it.
Night with a professor.
27,000? No shot. Trump looks sick? It's not that Trump looks, or he might look sick, but I feel like Trump cares way less, you know? I feel like Lil Bro's tired. Like, I feel like when you watch him, like even when he's reading the teleprompter, like everybody reads prompters, it's fine, he used to before. But now he just seems like very out of it. Like he just doesn't give a f*** as much. Get my bullshit right. $20 USD. Hey man, I made a video about your Jan 6 strategy. It evolved recently. Free to chat about the findings on effective language to change opinions may be impactful for your video strategy. I'm on stream disagreements. I'm not even at my normal setup right now, so maybe tomorrow. Am I right in thinking that Assange is just a socialist because it's as far away from capitalism as he can get while still having a voice in America? It's just the popular thing amongst the youngsters. I bet a friend $3,000 that he couldn't find an example of Trump being virtuous. At first I was nervous, then it was funny, and after 2 weeks it's just sad. $3,000? There must be one example of him donating or something to somebody, right? You ever do a meetup with Abba and Preach in Montreal? Maybe. If I'm ever up there. The next time I do my Saturday morning thing, I really want to... I think I'm just going to put a monitor right there, and I'm going to put... I want to put like Pisco and Josiah and everybody like on the monitor, and then it'd be cute. Like we're chatting, like, oh hey, tell me about like what's going on in the news. We'd be like, yeah, Steven, let me go ahead and tell you. And it just, I feel like it would be super cute. If Dan was the one talking to J-Reg when we went behind the counter and when we called him, it would have been so funny to switch the camera to Dan's seat while we were talking to J-Reg on Discord. Oh my god, that would have been fucking absolute cinema. Fascinating. Made out with a friend's ex-situationship, 2 years old, on a night out. He said it was none of his business that we hooked up, and now he's mad. Thoughts? I've never understood guys that get mad about that shit. But I also do open relationships, so who the f knows? I'm probably not the best person to ask. Here's what I would say. I can totally understand somebody getting jealous if there was somebody that you like had a huge crush on that like rejected you, or somebody that like brutally dumped you or turned you down, and then your friend started dating them. I could see that. Because if they rejected you and then they dated a friend, that would create like a huge like bad mind feeling like, oh god, like that guy must be better than me, or she liked him more than me, or whatever. Or if it's somebody that fucked you over, right? Like, oh my god, like this girl like tried to poison me or kill me or stab me, and now my friend's dating her. Like, what the fuck? This feels like a betrayal. But people do shit where it's like two people will just have a crush, or some guy will be like, oh, I think that chick's cute, and he like never even makes a move. And then if another guy dates the girl, they like get mad. I don't know. It seems stupid. Or people will get mad. Like if people date exes that are on good terms, I don't know. Why the fuck does it matter? I don't know. I just think it's, I don't know. God, look at that. Look at that lighting in the background. There's no such things as being friends with an ex. I think you can be friends with an ex as long as both of you are dating somebody else. And the breakup was like kind of mutual. Like obviously there's always going to be one side that leans into it more. But actually, you know what? Forget I just said that actually. No, you should never be friends with an ex. Forget I said that. It is possible, but that's treacherous territory. It's also possible to keep your balance and walk on a straight rope or a tight rope between two skyscrapers, but it's possible for maybe a decade. More like a AIDS. Oh! Whoa! It's been a year. What was a progressive victory drama with the White House? Was it? Has it really been a whole year? No shot. But I already said it. It was just that I think everybody failed that social media test pretty hardcore. Every single one of us did. But I think when I said that initially, none of that had been released. So, but now I don't think I have anything like new or anything crazy to. What's the first research thing after this election? I've got like a whole thing. If you look at my Obsidian, it's on that notes page. Just a bunch of stuff I want to run down the list of. But we should be able to move through each of these topics in like a day or two at most for each of these. Like I think the Iranian Revolution took us, or not. I'm sorry, not the revolution. The that hostage thing took us like 4 hours maybe. What happened to the Thorpes? Did they fizzle out? I don't even know. They're not. People just don't know how to be entertaining with their drama. I feel like one of the reasons why my drama is so entertaining is because I'm like a reasonable anchor for it all. So there could be crazy shit around me. Like even if I'm kind of crazy or kind of engaged with stuff, I'm like a point of reference a little bit, so I can survive a lot of the drama. The problem with people like the Thorpes is all of them are insane, and then they engage with insane people. So when you ratchet everything up to like an 11, and everybody's just crazy all the time, that kind of stuff never lasts for very long. There's nobody to kind of like keep it going in a reasonable manner, and things just like escalate over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you're like you're getting like police reports and arrest records, and you're just like, yeah. Someone was lying about Lord Balfour of all people the other day, saying he wanted to ship off all the dirty Jews from Europe, and he forced them there. I mean, Hassan is anti-Semitic as fuck, so that's not surprising at all. I feel so bad. It's like you're killing a dog every time you install Chrome. Windows is like so sad. Like, you know that Edge is actually really good now. You don't have to do this. We don't need to download a new browser. No, we don't need to do this. It's okay, please. Aren't you aware that your prescriptions might have a long-term effect on your brain? We have to take them for the rest of your life, or can you just quit them and return to being as functional as you were before ever taking them? I think amphetamines are really well studied. I haven't seen any negative long-term impact research at all, except for a pretty minor bump in resting heart rate. And the quitting them doesn't seem to have any negative effects either. Like, you quit them and then you're done. You'll feel kind of shitty for a while because you're back to normal. But if anything, I think the habit building everything shows slightly positive long-term effects, even if you quit. Like, you're still better off than if you would have never done it at all. So